Hi everyone, welcome to the very special first podcast for first year ECE students section 2. This will hopefully be a helpful and successful podcast series. So before we really get started, let me tell you a little bit about the podcasts. The goal really is to help you survive. And so in order to do that, we're going to create a new podcast approximately every 2 weeks, 4 to 5 minutes in length, so it won't take up too much of your time. They're going to be available for you on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you guys have all heard of YouTube. There are closed captions available, and so if you think that will help you, please turn on that option when you're viewing the videos on YouTube. Whenever there's a new podcast, you'll get an announcement in that virtual class. Remember I told you about that? It will appear on your Omnivox class list, and then you'll get an announcement. That means there's a new podcast. And these podcasts are tailored especially to you, Section 2. So all of your ECE courses in Section 2 will be addressed in this podcast. So as I say, hopefully this will be very helpful because as you're discovering, as you've already survived the first 2 weeks of CEGEP, there are some keys that will help you be successful in CEGEP. The first thing is being organized. This is so important. A second key to success is time management, being able to manage your time effectively and efficiently, especially if you're juggling different commitments, family, work, school, all that kind of thing. And so the key really is to keep up, stay on track with all of your schoolwork, homework, assignments, readings, tests, exams, and all of that. So how does this podcast fit in? I'm going to encourage you at this point, you might even pause the podcast and go and do this, and find a tool that's going to help you stay organized, something where you can record everything that you need to think about. So that could be your Vanier agenda, a super cool free option. Might be another calendar or agenda that you already have where you're going to write down assignments, due dates, readings, any other important information. There are online options, iCalendar, Google Calendar, and you can use those options on your phone. This last option, not such a good one. Not her responsibility anymore. Now you're in CEGEP, it's your job to stay on track with all of your schoolwork. So for the podcast, every week I'm going to show you something like this. It will be a calendar with all of your ECE classes on it, and I will highlight upcoming assignments, deadlines, things like that. So let's look at next week, shall we? And at this point, I have to encourage you to remain calm and breathe through the nose because as you might remember, as we discussed in class, Monday is a holiday, no school, yay! But what that means is that there is a schedule change. So on Tuesday, you have your Monday classes and you can see them all there. But on Wednesday, we're back to normal. So Wednesday classes on Wednesday next week and Thursday, and that's the end of your week. Then when we get to the week after, we're back to normal. So Monday classes on Monday, Wednesday classes on Wednesday, and then that's the end of that week. So hopefully this will help you navigate this very special Vanier schedule change, your first one ever, potentially. Phew! Lots of information. Breathe through the nose, as I said before. So that's pretty much the kind of thing you can expect from these podcasts every couple of weeks. Going forward, one thing that I would like you guys in Section 2 to think about is how you could really make this Section 2 podcast your own. So one thing we could think about is the theme or the look. I've got the whole green thing going, but maybe that doesn't appeal to Section 2. Maybe Section 2 you might like something more like this. Or like this, pretty flashy, something along these lines, or maybe something a bit more floaty and soothing and calm with feathers. Let me know how you feel if you have any feedback. You can, of course, always post your comments in the comments section on YouTube. Also in that comments section, there's going to be a complete transcript of everything that I've said, so you can read that. And of course, always stay on the lookout for a new announcement in that virtual class, because that will mean that the next podcast is available. So that's it for me for this podcast. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.